Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into personalized customer journeys.
Yep. And specifically, we're looking at the building blocks inside Adobe Journey Optimiser.
We've got a bunch of guides here covering, well, everything from logging in to designing emails, managing audiences, the whole lot.
Well, it looks quite comprehensive.
It really is. So our mission today is to kind of slice through all that detail.
Pull out the core ideas.
Exactly. The essential steps, the practical stuff for creating these tailored experiences. Think of it as a shortcut, really, to understanding what this platform can do.
Right. And not just, what buttons to click, but more the why behind it.
Yeah, logic.
So hopefully by the end, you'll have a much clearer picture of how to use Journey Optimizer for, well, better customer interactions.
Okay, sounds good. So where do we start with Journey Optimizer? The guides point to just getting in, right?
That's the first hurdle, logging in. The entry point is their specific homepage. To https://experience.adobe.com/journey-optimizer home.
Okay.
And obviously, you need your Adobe ID, standard stuff.
Right. And once you're in, is there some setup involved? Maybe creating a test profile or something?
Yeah, that's interesting. The guide suggests creating a profile, specifically using what they call the Lume website context.
Lume.
Seems to be their demo or training environment. And they even say use a dummy email address.
Ah, so you don't accidentally send real emails while you're learning. Smart.
Exactly.
Thank
Lets you
you.
play around safely. And a really key thing here is getting your Experience Cloud ID, your ESID.
ESID, got it.
You need to define that and note it down. It's like your unique fingerprint in the Adobe world.
Okay, so you've got your key, your INSID, and a sort of sandbox profile. How do you actually start building a journey?
Right. The next logical step is to find the Journeys section in the UI.
Makes sense.
Click New Journey, and then you start defining its basic properties. Give it a name. The example uses JD Newsletter Journey.
Okay.
Add a description, maybe some tags like ADLS to keep things organized. Just set in this stage.
Laying the groundwork. Okay. And the first actual step in this example journey is something called Read Audience. Why start there?
Read audience. That's fundamental. It's how you decide who enters this journey in the first place.
So who are you targeting?
In this specific example, the guide selects an audience based on any interactions in the last 24 hours.
So anyone who's been on the website recently.
Pretty much. Anyone who engaged yesterday gets pulled in. And thinking about why you choose that segment is important. Targeting recent visitors often means they're more engaged, right? The interaction's fresh.
Good point. Okay, so you've defined who comes in, but then there's a condition step to split people up. Why do that right away?
Well, that gets to the heart of personalization, doesn't it? Not everyone's the same.
True.
So this condition activity, it just checks a really basic but crucial thing.
Yeah.
Does this person have an email address listed in their profile?
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
The guide shows how to set it up. You look into the profile data. Specifically, Experience Platform Profile, Field Group Profile, Personal Email Address.
Wow. Specific path.
Yeah, you got to drill down. And then you use operators like is not empty or is empty. So you create two branches.
One for people with emails, one for those without.
Exactly. You can't send an email if you don't have an address. Seems obvious, but the system needs to know.
Right. You have to tell it explicitly. So for the people who do have an email, what's next in this simple journey?
Okay, so now we move from sorting people to actually doing something. For the emails not empty path, you add an email action.
The actual email sending part.
Right. And there are a few bits to configure. You give the action a label, like exciting Lume offers. That's just for your own reference. Helps with reporting later.
Okay.
Then you select an email configuration. The example uses marketing email configuration. This handles all the technical background stuff, sending domains, deliverability things.
Got it. And the content, the actual email they see.
Yeah, the important part. The guide shows editing the content. They use a pre-built template called Luma Features as a starting point.
So you don't always have to start from a blank slate.
Definitely not. Templates save a lot of time. Then you customize it. Set the subject line they use, new collections are here. Needs to be something that makes people open it,
That first impression. Okay, so this first journey is pretty straightforward. Target recent visitors, check for an email, send a newsletter if they have one. Seems logical. How do you know if it works?
That's where test mode is brilliant.
Yeah.
You absolutely need to test.
How does that work?
You use a specific profile identifier. That could be a test email address or that ECD we talked about.
Okay.
You feed that ID into the test mode, and it simulates that one person going through the journey. Then you check the journey execution log.
Like a step-by-step report.
Exactly. It shows every activity the test profile went through. Super helpful for debugging, catching any mistakes before you go live.
Great feature.
Hmm.
And the guide specifically says, do not publish this journey yet. Why hold back?
Good question. It's likely because this is just the very first basic example, a teaching step. The guide probably builds on this later, adding more complex bits. So master this simple flow first, then worry about publishing live journeys. It's a learning progression.
Makes sense. Learn to walk before you run. Okay, so we've got the basics of creating a journey. Let's switch gears to Module 2, building and managing audiences. This sounds like digging deeper into who we're talking to.
Precisely. This is all about segmentation, creating those really targeted groups. It's the foundation of good personalization.
So less about the flow, more about the who.
Exactly. The guide walks through a few different ways to build these audiences.
Okay, the first one, Activity 2.1, is audiences based on attributes. What's a scenario for that?
The example they give is for a women's wellness program.
Okay.
The goal is to target women born in March who are also bronze, silver, or gold loyalty members.
That's very specific.
It is, and that's the point. If you're running a wellness program, you want relevant messaging. Targeting by demographics, loyalty status, it helps you find the right people who are likely interested.
So how do you actually build that audience rule in Journey Optimizer?
You go to Customer Audiences, start a new one using Build Rule, then you start pulling in attributes from the XDM individual profile.
Okay.
So first condition, personal email address exists. Make sure you can actually contact them.
Right.
Second, person gender equals female. Then birth date during month, March. And importantly, you tick ignore year.
So any March birthday, regardless of the year.
Exactly. And finally, you check their loyalty level. It's under something like Adults Platform. Loyalty details level equals bronze, silver, or gold. You layer all those conditions together.
That's quite a stack of rules. The guide mentions refresh estimate. What's that for?
Oh, that's super handy. While you're building the rules, you can click Refresh Estimate.
And it tells you.
Gives you a rough count of how many profiles in your system currently match those rules, right then and there.
Wow, okay. So you know if you're targeting 10 people or 10,000.
Exactly. Helps you see if your audience size is viable before you even finish building it. It's crucial for planning. The guide also notes these usually use batch evaluation, meaning the system checks everyone periodically.
Okay. And then you name it, save it, publish it.
Yep. Give it a clear name like JD, loyalty member, female customers born in March, give you a description, and publish.
Got it. Activity 2.2 moves to audiences based on events. So this is less about who they are, more about what they did.
You nailed it. This shifts to behavior. The scenario is an online fitness store.
Yeah.
They want to find people who added the Zeppelin yoga pant to their cart.
Specific product again?
Yep, but then didn't buy it. Abandoned cart scenario, basically, but for a specific product interest.
Ah, a classic. So how do you track that sequence of events?
Again, you start building a new audience rule. But this time, you use the events section. You drag the product list ads event onto the canvas.
Okay, add it to cart.
Then, and this is the clever bit, you drag the purchases event onto the product list ads event. That creates a sequence.
Ah, looking for one thing followed by another. Or not followed, in this case.
Exactly. You specify the product for the product list ads event. Product list items name equals Zeppelin yoga pant. Then you do the same for the purchases event, but you select the exclude option.
So they added it, but the purchase event for that item didn't happen afterward.
Precisely. It isolates those who showed intent but didn't convert. Very powerful for follow-up.
Very cool. Okay, Activity 2.3 combines both. Audiences based on attributes and events. When would you mix them?
Good question. The scenario here is a company anniversary. They want to give a discount to customers born in or after 1960 and who have bought something, anything, at least once.
So combining a demographic, birth year, with a behavior made a purchase.
Exactly. It lets you target, say, loyal customers within a certain age group for a special offer, rewarding loyalty, fostering that relationship.
How do you build that rule? Is it tricky combining them?
Not really. You start with the attribute. XDM, individual profile person birth year, is greater than or equal to 1960. Then you just go to the Events tab in the same rule builder and drag the Purchases event over. You don't even need to specify what they purchase. Just the fact that a purchase event exists for that profile is enough.
So the system just checks birth year equals 1960 and has a purchase event ever happened?
Yep. Simple combination. Then refresh the estimate, name it, publish it.
Okay. Now, after building all these audiences, there's a demo about activating an audience to a destination. What does activate mean here? Sending them somewhere.
Pretty much. Activation means making these audiences you've carefully built usable in other places, other marketing tools, systems, data warehouses.
So exporting the list.
Essentially, yes.
Uh-huh.
The demo uses that born after 1960 and purchased audience we just talked about.
Yeah.
And it shows activating it to an Amazon S3 destination, like sending that specific list of customers to cloud storage.
Why would you do that?
Maybe use S3 to feed into another email platform or an ad network, or for analysis in a different tool. It makes the segment portable.
Gotcha. So you export the segment for use elsewhere.
Right. And the demo shows setting up a schedule, like export full files daily, running after segment evaluation. So the list in S3 stays fresh. It also mentions the attribute mapping, making sure the data fields line up between Journey Optimiser and S3. Then you hit finish.
Okay, that makes sense. The last part of this module is audience compositions. How is that different from building rules?
Audience compositions are interesting. Instead of building rules from scratch based on attributes or events, you combine existing audiences you've already made.
With mixing and matching.
Exactly. Activity 2.4 gives two examples. First, a fintech company wants to target both its gold and silver loyalty members. They already have separate audiences for silver members and gold members.
So instead of rebuilding the silver or gold logic,
You just compose. You choose compose audience, add the silver members audience, add the gold members audience, and critically you select the union merge type.
union, like in math class, includes
Yep.
everything from both sets.
You got it. Anyone in silver or anyone in gold ends up in this new combined audience. It's super efficient.
Neat. What's the second composition scenario? It looks more complex. Cosmetics retailer, birthdays, loyalty points.
Yeah, this one shows a different trick. The split option. They start with an audience called birthday is today.
Okay, simple enough.
Then they use attribute split based on loyalty points, specifically that Addis platform, loyalty details points attribute.
And they split based on the points value.
Right. They create two paths, one for points 300 and another for points 300. They even add a third catch-all path for other profiles.
Wow. So you take one audience and chop it into smaller, more specific audiences based on another criteria.
Exactly. And each of those resulting paths gets saved as its own new audience. So you end up with birthday today, Andy points 300, birthday today, Andy points 300, etc. Very flexible for targeted birthday offers based on loyalty.
Very powerful. But there's a big warning here. Do not publish audience compositions. Why not?
Yes. That's likely a sandbox limitation. In training or development environments, there's often a cap on how many active compositions you can have running.
To save system resources.
Probably. Performance reasons, maybe cost. It forces you to be strategic about which compositions you actually need live.
Okay, good to know. So we've covered finding the right people. Module 3 is crafting content templates and fragments. This is about creating the actual message, right?
Yes, exactly. Building the emails, the reusable bits of content. This is all about efficiency and consistency in what you send out.
Makes sense. Activity 3.1 is create an EMIS template from scratch.
When would you do that? Build it all yourself?
The scenario is for those silver loyalty members again, this time sending them holiday flight offers. Building from scratch gives you total control over the design for that specific campaign.
Okay, so total customization. How does it work? Is it code or visual?
It's primarily visual, drag and drop. You go to Content Management, Content Templates, start a new one, choose email channel, HTML type, and then design from scratch.
And then you build it block by block.
Pretty much. You use structures to define the layout, like 1 column, 2 columns, etc. Then you drag in contents, images, text blocks, buttons, social media icons. What does the guide show specifically?
It shows adding an image, travelflightoffers.jpg, resizing it, setting a background color, adding text like "end soon" in a big font, then smaller text.
Can you personalize the text easily?
Oh yeah. It shows adding the person's first name using the little personalization icon. You browse profile attributes, find first name, and pop it in. Makes a big difference to engagement.
Definitely. What else goes in this flight offer template?
A clear button, unlock the deal, social icons, and a standard footer with contact us, unsubscribe, privacy policy links, all nicely aligned. Then you save the template.
How do you check it before using it? Make sure the name merge works.
Good question. That's the simulate content feature. You pick a test profile, maybe using an email address.
Like the instructor's ID from the guide.
Right. And it shows you exactly how the email will look for that person with their name filled in. You can also send proof to actually receive the test email in your inbox. Essential for catching errors.
Absolutely. Okay, activity 3.2 is different. Create an email template from code. Why code it yourself?
This is for when you, or maybe your design team, have already built the email HTML outside of Journey Optimizer.
Like in Dreamweaver or another tool.
Exactly. You have the finished HTML code. Instead of rebuilding it visually, you just paste the code in. The scenario is an email for new men's athletic gear.
So how does that work?
You still create a new email HTML template, but you choose code your own.
Yeah.
It gives you a code editor. You delete whatever's there and paste in your complete HTML from the source file they mention, an athletic gear collection email code document.
Does it check the code?
Usually, yeah. There's often a validate button to catch basic HTML errors. Then save, simulate, send proof. The usual checks apply.
Okay. And there's another way. Create email template from imported HTML content. How's that different from pasting code?
It's similar, but file-based. Instead of pasting, you choose import HTML.
Ah, you upload the HTML file directly.
Yep. The scenario is a travel newsletter. You'd browse, select your newsletter travel around the world.html file, and Journey Optimizer imports and renders it in the editor. It can be quicker if you just have the file ready to go.
3 ways to get your email design in. Got it. Last one in this module, 3.3. Create a fragment. What's a fragment?
Think of fragments as reusable content chunks, building blocks.
Like a standard header or footer?
Exactly. Or a specific promotional block you use often. The scenario is creating a standard banner for all newsletters. Super useful for consistency and saving time.
So you build it once, use it many times. How do you make one?
Go to Content Management Fragments, create a new visual fragment. The example builds a banner with a logo on the left, some text, reimagine your fitness journey on the right, and then a main banner image below that, all using the visual editor tools.
And once it's saved and published,
It appears in your fragment library. When you're designing an email, you drag a structure onto the canvas. Then you can just drag your saved fragment right into it. Boom, consistent banner added in seconds.
that sounds incredibly useful. Okay, that covers content creation. Module 4 is launching campaigns. This is for one-off sends, right? Not the automated journeys.
That's the key difference, yeah. Campaigns are for those single scheduled messages, maybe an announcement, a policy update, a specific promotion.
Got it. Activity 4.1 is create an email campaign. What's a typical use case?
The guide uses a really common one, updating customers about changes to the privacy policy and terms of use.
Important compliance stuff.
Definitely. You need to let everyone know.
Yeah.
So you set up a campaign for that one-time blast.
How's it set up?
You go to Journey Management Campaigns, choose Scheduled Marketing, give it a name, description, select your audience here. They use any interaction in the last 24 hours, again, to hit active users, set email identity.
Then choose the email itself.
Right. Pick the email action, the marketing email configuration, then edit the content. Subject. Important note is organization policy update. They suggest using a template, maybe swapping the image for something relevant, and pasting in the policy text from a file.
Anything else specific for this type?
Make sure the unsubscribe link is correct. And interestingly, for this informational email, they suggest clearing the option to track clicks. The goal isn't clicks, it's just informing.
Good point. Then you activate it.
Review everything, then hit activate. You can then watch its status activating, processing, scheduled, live, and you can usually see basic reports.
Can you stop it if you mess up?
Yes, thankfully. There's usually a stop button, crucial if you spot an error after hitting go.
Phew. Okay, next is a demo. Create a web campaign. Personalizing the website itself.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Using Journey Optimizer to change what people see on your website pages.
How does that work?
You set up a campaign, again, scheduled marketing.
Yeah.
Audience might be all visitors, identity type ECID, the action is web.
And editing the content.
This is where it gets interesting. You need to be logged into the target website, like the LMA demo site, and have a specific browser extension installed, the Adobe Experience Cloud Visual Editing Helper.
Okay, requires a bit of setup.
Yep. Then when you edit content, it overlays an editor onto your actual website. You can click on text, images, banners right on the page.
Then change them.
Exactly. Change Luma 2023, now available to hi, explore latest collections, or even add personalization like, hi, first name, discover Luma.
Wow, directly editing the live site preview.
Well, the preview within the editor.
Yeah.
Then you activate the campaign, and those changes go live for the targeted visitors. And again, you can stop it if needed.
Very powerful. Then activity 4.2, create an in-app campaign, messages inside your mobile app.
Correct. Targeting users while they're actively using your app. The scenario is a birthday message, maybe with an offer.
So how's that set up?
New campaign, maybe all app users audience, eSite identity. Action is in-app message.
And the content options are different.
Yeah, tailored for apps.
Yeah.
You choose layouts like modal, a pop-up, full-screen banner, add images, header text, happy birthday, body text, button text, view offers.
Can you preview it easily?
Yes, there's usually a preview on device option.
Yeah.
The guide mentions using a specific app, DX demo, and scanning a QR code to see the message live on your phone before activating.
Very handy. Activate it, and users see it when they open the app.
If they're in the target audience, yeah.
Okay. Last one for campaigns. 4.3, create a push campaign. Notifications outside the app.
Exactly. Those alerts that pop up on the phone's home screen or lock screen, great for timely nudges. The scenario is a year-end sale notification.
Setup similar.
Pretty much. Campaign, audience, UD recent interactors, easy identity, push notification action, choose your push configuration.
And the content is simpler?
Much simpler. Just a title, year-end sale is live, and a short body. Grab the best deals. The system usually handles sending it correctly to both iOS and Android from that one setup.
Activate and phones start buzzing.
If users opted in to push notifications, yes.
Okay, that covers all the one-off campaign types. Now for the really advanced stuff. Module 5, building and deploying customer journeys again, but more complex.
Right. Back to the automated multi-step flows, but building on what we learned earlier, putting more pieces together.
Activity 5.1 is a big one. Create and publish a customer journey. The scenario sounds involved. Order confirmations, push notifications, a discount for big spenders, even a reminder if they don't open the discount email.
Yeah, this ties a lot together. It's a proper end-to-end flow triggered by a purchase.
Okay, break it down. Task 1, order confirmation email and push.
So new journey, triggered by a purchase event. It allows re-entrance, so repeat buyers go through it again. First action, email. Its transactional category uses a specific configuration and template, limit order summary.
Lots of personalization here.
Definitely. First name, the order total pulled directly from the triggering purchase event data. And it even shows adding a dynamic table using code in each loop to list out all the product bought with quantity, price, etc., pulled from the event data too.
Wow, pulling live order data into the email.
Very powerful. Then right after the email, add a push. Action. Quick mobile confirmation. Order placed.
Okay, immediate confirmation done. Task 2, add a condition. Why?
To treat customers differently based on how much they spent, the condition checks if the price total from the purchase event is $100 or more. Creates two paths, high spenders, lower spenders.
Smart. Task 3, email activity for special discount. This is for the high spenders.
Exactly. Down the $100 plus path, add another email action. This one's marketing. Offers a 20% discount coupon as a thank you using a different template.
Nice reward. But how do you know if they even saw it? Task 4, configure a reaction activity.
Right. This listens for what happens next. You connect a reactions activity to that discount email. Configure it to wait for the email opened event.
Like for how long?
The guide uses 5 minutes for the demo, but notes a real case might be a day. Crucially, you enable a timeout path.
So if they don't open it within that time...
The journey goes down the timeout path, which leads to task 5. Configure a push activity for coupon expiry.
Ah, the reminder.
Exactly. If the reaction times out, email wasn't opened, send a push notification. Discount offer expires today, check your email. A nudge to re-engage.
That's a really complete flow. Task 6 is publish and analyze.
Yep. Hit publish to make it live. Then the guide says to actually make a purchase on the LEMA site to trigger it for a test user.
See it all happen in real time.
See the confirmation email push, then maybe the discount email, and if you wait, maybe the reminder push. Then you can go into Journey Optimiser, view the journey report, see how many people went down each path, etc. Then stop the journey when testing is done.
Fantastic example. Okay, last module. Module 6, building landing pages and managing subscriptions. Shifting focus to capturing new leads.
Yeah, and managing their opt-in preferences. Creating simple web pages to collect info, and using subscription lists.
Activity 6.1, create and publish a landing page to add subscribers. Starts with task 1, create a subscription list. Why first?
Because you need somewhere to put the people who sign up via the landing page. The list holds their details and consent.
Makes sense. How do you create one?
Go to Customer Subscription Lists. Create new. Give it a title. JD Smile Event. Description. Users who registered. Maybe a date range. Tags. When you save it, it also automatically creates a corresponding audience segment.
Okay, list ready. Task 2, create and test a landing page.
Right. Go to Content Management Landing Pages, create new, title, description, choose a preset layout.
Does it mention building forms?
Interestingly, The guide snippet focuses first on creating an error page subpage, what people see if something goes wrong. Just a simple page with an image and text like an error occurred.
Okay, good practice to have an error page.
Then you set the URL for the error page and also for the main primary page. Then you open the designer for the primary page, and in this simple example, they just add an image, smile.jpg. It doesn't detail adding the actual sign-up form in this part, but sets up the page structure.
So it shows the basic framework for creating landing pages linked to lists.
Exactly. It shows Journey Optimiser has tools for that initial capture, keeping it within the same platform.
Wow. We have covered a ton of ground. From just logging in, building simple flows, segmenting audiences in really detailed ways.
Crafting emails and reusable content, sending one-off campaigns via email, web, in-app, push.
Then building that complex, multi-step triggered purchase journey, and even touching on landing pages. It's quite a toolkit.
It really is. Hopefully this deep dive gives us a solid foundation, connecting the dots between all these different pieces. Journeys, audiences, content, campaigns, they all work together.
It definitely shows how you can move way beyond just blasting the same message to everyone.
Right. It's about getting more granular, more relevant. Which brings us to the final thought, maybe for you listening.
Yeah.
Now that you've seen these building blocks, the conditions, the reactions, the personalization, the different channels, how can you use them to really listen to your customers? To move past just broadcasting and truly understand and respond to where each person is on their own unique journey with your brand.
That's the real challenge and the opportunity, using these tools not just technically, but strategically.
Exactly. That's where the magic happens.